in SD 17, Sutta Discovery Volume 17, Chapter 13, Indriya Bhāvanā Sutta. And this sutta is famous as the last of the Majjhima Suttas. Majjhima Middle Line Sutta, Sutta number 152. You can see M152. It's a very interesting sutta in the sense that we get a rare glimpse into how the awakened mind deals with sense experiences. In other words, the sutta is divided quite neatly into 4 parts. In the first part is the origin story, if you like, how the sutta started, why the sutta was taught, and you have this a young student of a teacher who makes a statement and then the Buddha responds. And then the second part is how people like us should train, or what we can simply call the practitioner, the way of the practitioner, if you like. You can see the written report, Awaken practitioner, right? And the second part is the learner's practice. Learners are stimulus upwards, up to the Arahant, to be. And then the last one is a rare kind of insight, the nature of the Arahant's mind. So you have 3 categories, 3 levels of practice, if you like. The unawakened, those on the way to awakening, and then the awakening. So this gives us a very good idea of the kind of teachings given in the sutta, right? And also how we should practice it. And although we may not be awakened, we will have a very good idea on how to deepen some of our practices. Again, here the thing is very simple. It's about the senses. Many people tend to discount the sutta and say, oh yes, I know 5 senses, 6 senses, and then they just shut themselves off. That's the greatest danger, cutting off wisdom. In other words, if we are attentive, we can learn a lot of things from a lot of places. We can learn what not to do from a foolish or wrong situation. And of course, if you have a wise teacher, there is so much you can learn to cultivate your wisdom further. So, the key word here, of course, is Indriya Bhāvanā. Indriya means the faculties, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Bhāvanā means cultivation, cultivating the 6 senses. So here, when we don't exactly see the triple training, it's like all the 3 have been combined into one. So it seems, and yet we're talking about just the senses only. How do we look at the senses? So in a sense, it's kind of in between daily life meditation, if you like, because we have to be mindful how to deal with the senses. We will see this very clearly in the suttas. And yet, by this same practice, we can also attain spiritual awakening. You know, the wonderful thing about listening to suttas, talking about suttas, translating suttas, is that you begin to discover more and more about yourself. That is, if you don't translate it as a scholar, I mean, there are lots of very good scholars who translate suttas, and their translations are very good compared to 100 years ago. Definitely, the translation of today, all the 4 Nikayas have very good translations. This is where it's very useful to study them, right? We can't say we don't have the books like 30 years ago. At the same time, if you're really interested in suttas and you do a lot of sutta study, in my case I do full-time sutta study almost every day on the suttas somehow, you find there are finer points which are very interesting, which only a practitioner will discover or notice. So if you go into proper practice, you find, wow, there's something very interesting here, which is missed by the scholars. And you begin to know the scholars may be very good, but if you just approach the scholars who are translating, even as a monk or nun, you only get that much. In other words, even as a non-translator, if you regularly practice your breath meditation, loving kindness meditation, your mindfulness, and when you read the suttas, you discover, wow, you begin to understand the sutta, and you wish you could tell people about it. No, don't write something about it, you tell people about it. Tell people at the right time. One of the worst places to tell the best truth is actually online, on the internet. Sometimes you can say something really nice and beautiful, and you get someone who's either anti-Buddhist or perhaps not interested in Buddhism, or simply ignorant or foolish. It may make some very unhappy remarks, and the whole import of the teaching is gone. That is why right environment is very important. So in a sense, you can't really teach the Dharma in social media unless it's dedicated to just suttas and Dharma only. Right? If you just keep an open discussion, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So this is where a lot of mindfulness is needed. Maybe, we're just beginning to have this social media, so we're all excited about this social media. It's almost like we're allowed to let down our hair and express ourselves as crazy as we like. So it's a really mad place. So this is where, if we use it with discipline and wisdom, it's a wonderful place to communicate. For example, where the Sutta website is concerned, so many people today benefiting from the suttas in remote areas like South America, Africa, and so on. So this ability to be touched by the sutta is not something easy. The people who have contacted me, many of them have great difficulties. Some of them have very deep psychological problems, they're under treatment, then they somehow really work hard to heal themselves. And they say that the suttas and the reflections that are writing weekly help them as support. It's like two voices telling them, hey, you're okay, you'll be all right. There are people here who know what's wrong with you and it's okay. You just need to work harder to strengthen yourself. And they've been keeping in touch with us for years. So you begin to see how they progress. One day they'll say, oh, today after the I'm getting my relax, I'm taking my medicine. And then after that, 1 year passes, oh, I feel better now, I'm really good, I feel so happy. And the metta, loving kindness is helping. So it's good to hear all these things. In other words, they are keeping up the practice. And on top of that, they ask Dharma questions. Why is Brahma Vihara so important? Why is metta so important? What does breath meditation help me to calm down? Questions like that. And they're all alone in these remote places, which are in the other part of the world. And this is the wonder of the internet. So in that sense, the Dharma can be spread if we use it with respect and curiosity and, of course, wisdom. So this is nervous. How do we cultivate our faculties over the distances? The Dharma can work its magic if we have that calmness of mind. Remember, whatever we're doing now, we have done before. We have heard suttas before, we've studied suttas before. So when we sit here, or when we listen to this recording, we something connect, or we feel joyful just to hear something about suttas. Of course, there are others who really enjoy talks by other people. Well, maybe they were, friends, servants, workers for this person. So next life we still get attracted to this person for reasons we do not really know. So this is where look for the Dharma, whatever it is. There is something pulling us towards the Dharma. So we got to go deeper within ourselves. The real journey begins inside. So Indriya also refers to yourself. Who are we? Who am I? I am the 6 senses, right? So how do I cultivate myself? It's Indriya Bhāvanā. So this is what the sutta is about. Okay, page 203. The discourse on the cultivation of the faculties. M152. Thus have I heard that one time time, the Blessed One stayed in a Mukelu forest near Kajangara. Some of these names of plants are very hard for us to know unless we are familiar with India. This is one of those plants I'm not very familiar with. Mukelu, in fact, some versions, the Chinese version says this is Veduvana, bamboo forest. Whereas others, they have other names like Mukelu, Sukelu, Munjelu, and so on. So we don't really know the exact name here, but it doesn't matter. We know that the Buddha likes to stay in a quiet place in the forest. Then the Brahmin youth Uttara, resident pupil of Parasarya, went up to the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him. When this courteous and friendly exchange was concluded, he sat down at one side. The Blessed One then said this to him: Uttara, does the Brahmin Parasarya teach his disciples the cultivation of the faculties? So here notice the Buddha begins the discussion. Now notice one thing, the Buddha doesn't talk about secular things unless they are related to the Dharma. There is no coffee shop chats with the Buddha, so to speak. And everything's related to the Dharma anyway. Or at least that's the way the Buddha is presenting the suttas. That's understandable, talking about sacred scriptures, So very often the Buddha will begin by asking, putting question, or sometimes the audience will ask the Buddha a opening question. So here the Buddha asks a question. Of course, before that, don't forget, there's a line which says they exchange courteous and friendly greetings. So that's purely opening. How are you and how are you keeping? Normally the Buddha will ask the monks, how are you keeping? How's your health? First question. Second question, any problems with alms food? Okay, these are the two questions the Buddha always asks the monks. And the monks will say, we're okay. And the monks will say, okay. And there are cases where you get a dying person, you say, oh, my body feels terrible, and so on, and you give a very graphic description. But usually the monks will say, okay. So here the Buddha asked the student Uttara, what does a teacher teach about cultivating the faculties? Apparently here the Buddha knew or knows something about Parasarya. But he is the kind of teacher who has a very strange teaching. So this is what he teaches according to the student. Master Gautama, the Brahmin Parasarya, does teach his disciples the cultivation of the faculties. The Buddha asks, what is it? And he says in the 2.2, here Master Gautama, one does not see forms with the eye. One does not hear sound with the ear. This is how Master Gautama, the Brahmin Parasarya, teaches his disciples the cultivation of the faculties. So it's a very interesting statement here. Since his teacher says, don't see anything, don't hear anything, then you'll be happy. So the Buddha probably is smiling here. And then the Buddha, in just one line, knocks down the whole argument, 2.3. In that case, Uttara, according to what the Brahmin Parasarya says, the blind would be one with developed faculty. The deaf would be one with developed faculty. For Uttara, the blind sees no form with the eye, the deaf hears no sound with the ear. Right? So it's not a very workable or even wise philosophy at all. The question now is, why do people have this kind of idea? You might have your friends telling you, you want to share no trouble, see nothing, hear nothing. There's a kind of philosophy. I think it's not something like this. Maybe the teacher or we also, we hear people saying when you're meditating, whatever you see as beautiful, whatever you hear is beautiful sound, or you are so at peace with your meditation, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. Probably that's what it's meant. But somehow here, taken out of context, you have a lot of problems. So the Buddha says it doesn't work like that. Right? And yet the Buddha talks about the very same faculties which Parasarya is talking about in a different way. Okay? So here you can compare, in other words, the philosophy of the Buddha's time and the Buddha's own philosophy, how deep it is. So, the student is very sad, kind of rejected, and then the Ananda cuts in. Okay, Ananda intervenes. Ananda is like he's a great PR guy. So Ananda says, Ananda probably, I was sitting there also. So sometimes Ananda will say, Bhante, why don't you say this, why don't you teach that? Okay. So here the Buddha, now that the X is teaching to Ananda, 3.2. Says, Ananda, the Brahmin Parasarya teaches his disciples the cultivation of the faculty in one way. But in the Noble One's discipline, the supreme cultivation of the faculties is taught in a different way. Now what's interesting here is who's the audience? Just remember, you have this young man sitting with the Buddha, and Ananda also sitting there. So what the Buddha has done here in talking this way, he's addressing three groups of people. Do you know who's the third group? That's we ourselves today, because we are studying the suttas. When the suttas are recorded, it's down to us, now we are looking at it again. We are reliving the whole situation. But in the Noble One's discipline, the supreme cultivation of the faculties is taught in a different way. Now, then Ananda says, now is the time for the Blessed One, now is the time for the well-born Sugata, that the Blessed One should teach the Dharma, to teach the supreme cultivation of the faculties in the Noble One's discipline. Having heard the Blessed One, the monks will remember it. So probably there were other monks nearby also. Then listen, Ananda, pay close attention, I will speak. Now here the Buddha addresses only Ananda. Okay? Sometimes, if you look carefully in the Pali text, the names of people, of men, they are given as plural. For example, this name could be Ananda. Now there's something wrong with the grammar. If the Buddha says Ananda, the Buddha means Ananda and whoever is present. For example, if Sariputta and Moggallana are present, the Buddha will say Sariputta with a long ending. That means Sariputta and Moggallana. And then sometimes the Buddha will say Anuruddha. It's a feminine form. Anuruddha and Kimbila, Bhagu and so on. Okay? I suppose if I transmit the Buddha and Uttara and I see the Buddha will say Piya. Okay? Piya and so this is where Piya, which is normally masculine, we have a feminine ending, which means it includes whoever is present. So this is a very interesting grammatical feature which I'm not seeing in any other grammar. Okay? And again, if you are not well trained in monastic tradition and monastic grammar, you probably might not notice this. So this is one interesting feature which is also reflected in the suttas I translated. So the Buddha begins his teaching. Once again, let me give you a quick survey. There are three parts of the sutta. Now we're going to begin with number one, unawakened practitioners' cultivation of the faculties. The second part will be the learner's cultivation, and also the arhat's cultivation. Of course, the most important part for us is to know the first part definitely, and the toughest part, of course, the last one. Section 4. Now, Ananda, what is the supreme cultivation of the faculties in the Noble One's discipline? Here, Ananda, when a monk sees a form with the eye, in him the agreeable arises, the disagreeable arises, the agreeable and disagreeable arises. Okay, here we have a new word. I don't think we have seen this word before. Most of cases previously, you will see neither pleasant nor unpleasant, right? But here you see the word neither agreeable nor disagreeable, which also has the meaning of neutral. So here you have three kinds of experiences arising through what we see. When we see something which reminds us of a happy moment, we like it. We see something which reminds us of a bad experience in the past, we react with dislike. But sometimes you have both, and that's called neutral. Now, when it is used in this context, it translates as neutral. But when you sometimes you see the word manapa, okay, by itself, then it is what's called a dvandva. In other words, it's a twin compound, cumulative compound. It translates as the agreeable and the disagreeable. Okay? Here it means neutral.
Yeah.
Yes.
How can agreeable and disagreeable be neutral?
When it's used in that sense, the agreeable and the disagreeable, in this context, it would be regarded as the meaning in our sense is neutral.
Shouldn't they have the words neither agreeable nor disagreeable?
Yeah, in our language, that would make more sense. Neither agreeable nor agreeable. So this is, when you read this word, manapa, the idea you have in your head is neutral. Okay, so this is a special usage in Pali. The way it's using. There's an interesting reason for this. This is connected with the three roots. Great hatred illusion. Okay? So when you see something as pleasant, you tend to want more and more of it. Why? Because it's connected with something in the past. So you're not really looking at the present. You are being stringed or strung. You're still being controlled by the strings of the past. So you look at the present only in terms of the past. So in the past, I had this wonderful experience. Here it is happening again, so you kind of get caught up with it. So that promotes greed. Okay? Lobha. Right? On the other hand, it's something in the past was unpleasant, painful, and you look at something in the present and it's, oh, brings back some painful memories and you get upset. So the past has come back to you. You're not looking at the present. The past is controlling you again. So the second, what we call reaction, reinforces hate, dosa. Okay? And then the third one, you see it as both pleasant and unpleasant. A kind of mixed feeling. Maybe mixed feeling a bit, good word here. You see it, you like it, you don't like it. Kind of mixed feeling. Notice the fact that you do not like something is sometimes you wish you could have liked it. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you don't like something, you wish you had liked it. But you couldn't. Somehow there was no chance or you couldn't get it, so they took arises. So they go together. Right? This is very important psychology, you know? And as I said, this is where those who have knowledge of psychology, psychotherapy, when they read such text, they perhaps will see more depth than we do. You know? So if we just read Sutta without any literary training or technological training or any kind of training, the Sutta appears one way only. But if you are richly trained in your particular tradition, whatever it is, I mean, I know someone was a lawyer in the UK, the name of Andrew Huxley, and he writes really interesting articles about Vinaya, but you know, which is quite a tough topic. So in other words, what I'm saying here, if you have a depth in some kind of learning, the suttas will appeal to you in a very interesting way. Of course, that doesn't mean if you love the sutta for itself, you won't find it interesting. It's possible too. If you know how it helps a lot. So here, this third quality, the agreeable and disagreeable, you get caught up with it because in the past you have this experience of something you like and something you do not like. And somehow, because it is like a twin quality, almost like a twin quality, you couldn't decide. So that reinforces delusion. So greed, hatred, delusion. That's how these three negative roots are reinforced. So once you have that kind of idea, you begin to understand how to deal with yourself. Right? These are very basic things you must remember. And you find the Buddha talks again and again, and also almost about these things, because these are the teachings that we often tend to forget. So we are reminded. Of course, the teaching continues. And this is a very important thing to remember if you want to do meditation or a simpler form of meditation called mindfulness practice in daily life, if you like. 4.3. He understands thus. In me, this agreeable state has arisen, this disagreeable state has arisen, this agreeable and agreeable state as a reason. So this means what? Acknowledge it. First, you must acknowledge it. Because if you don't, then you're in denial. Right? So begin to see now, all these statements, they're not just put there for fun. There is a very important reason. And it is conditioned, grows dependently a reason. This is peaceful, this is sublime, that is to say, equanimity. Or this last sentence you can also translate as equanimity is peaceful, sublime. Two ways. Now this line is very important. Do make a note of this, 4.3. Whatever you experience, you reflect as 4.4. Whatever you experience is either agreeable, disagreeable, or neutral. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. It's one of these three. You can't escape. It has to be one of these three. So number one, identify what kind of feeling is this. And then once you identify it, then you go to the reflection. This feeling is conditioned, grows dependently a reason. Okay, condition means there are conditions, causes for it to arise. We may or may not know it. If you spend time reflecting why you feel like that, why do you get angry? And then you apply the Uttara Sutta, the thought reduction method. Okay, this one way. If you don't know, it's okay. Just see, all these are the reason for the process. They are reasonable conditions. In other words, they are impermanent. That's another way you can explain. In other words, they are impermanent. Now, once you have this kind of nature, you find that you will not be troubled the way other people are troubled. Some people, they're a little bit, they get very worried, it's so scary, right? So once you reflect in this way, you see things in real light, in true light. Then it is gross. Okay, gross here means it has arisen from one of the five senses. It has arisen from one of the five senses. Gross here refers to the five senses, but not the mind. Okay? In other words, something you saw, heard, smelled, tasted, or touched brought back this memory. All our experiences are based in one of these five physical senses. It is the sixth sense that, in a sense, project how we look at all these things. So gross based on one of the five physical senses. And then the next one, dependently a reason. That means cause effect, cause effect, cause effect. Okay? So if you understand the preceding cause, then the effect is gone. Right? Now the first one, condition that means something like, there are many other things that brought it about. It doesn't happen by itself. Right? Whereas dependently a reason, that means cause effect, cause effect. So you have the kind of vertical approach condition, and then you have the horizontal approach, okay? That is the first one, condition, and then you have the vertical approach, which is dependently a reason. So once you reflect in this way, you know you are dealing with a thought. You know you're dealing with your mind. And once you understand that, then comes the next sentence. This is peaceful, this is sublime, that's to say equanimity. So once you reflect in this way, you are putting your mind into equanimity, balance, a balanced mind. Okay? Not deep meditation yet, but on the daily level, it keeps your mind healthy. I tell you, this is wonderful psychotherapy. In counseling, this is a very important technique to help the client understand that whatever negative experiences this person is experiencing is conditioned. Conditioned by what? Something happened in the past. And then it grows. Something in the present. The senses. One of the senses has activated this feeling. And then dependently a reason is about the future, if you like. You identify the present condition, you remove it, no more effect in the future. Or at least it won't happen in the near future. So this is a very wonderful theory to talk about in psychotherapy counseling. Right? So remember, condition grows dependently of reason. And if you want to see the notes, it's section 4.2. There's something that I can look at. Then the Buddha continues, he says, the agreeable that has a reason, the disagreeable that has a reason, the agreeable and disagreeable that has a reason, ceases in him and equanimity is established. In fact, 4.5 explains 4.4. The nature of equanimity. How to maintain a peaceful mind. That's another way of talking. How to maintain a peaceful mind. Okay, maintain a peaceful throat first. Any question on this? This is very important methodology in some counseling.
I was thinking here that this development of equanimity, of course, is very good. Meaning, you can see through things and achieve inner calm. I think that's very good. But in daily life, if one sort of practices that and nothing else, then a lot of things may not happen. I give you some examples. Let's say, even in politics, government does something you either like or you don't like. And then in performances, concerts, shows and that sort of thing. Every day, I mean, quite often you get reviews in the Straits Times, like performance very good, performance not very good, like and
Critics.
So normally, people, I mean, everybody, when you see something or you hear something, you like or you don't like, and then if you stop there, then nothing happens.
Okay.
But sometimes people take one more step, which is that, okay, this is not the right way to do things, or we can improve it in this way, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. So if you just stop at equanimity, what I'm trying to say, a lot of things may not happen. But if you take another step and say contribute constructively towards something.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So here is where we say the context. It's very important to understand the context. What is the context of the sutta and what is the context you are talking about? You are talking in the context of samsara. You're talking about the context of daily life, which is definitely true. In daily life, in the arts, or for that matter, our daily action, communication with people, we somehow need to respond accordingly. If someone does something good, we say, wonderful, so good, And that's practice of metta, right? Of course, when someone does something wrong, we have to be very careful. If we are wise enough and we are of that kind of position before us, then we are able to say what's really went wrong before this thing, that's fine too. Or otherwise, we still use metta. We say, well, okay, so far so good, So what I'm saying here is, we do respond in that way, and we try to be positive about it, but we use more metta, loving kindness. Okay, yes, we do that. And that's fine, because the situation, in a sense, demands it, needs it, or will benefit from it. Definitely, we're not saying all the while with nothing, we should not respond in any way. The Sutta doesn't say that. Okay, the Sutta is saying here, what if something negative happens? So here the Buddha says all these things are there. Alright, so and for example, you think of something very nice, you say, let's say I was an actor, and then long ago I did some really great movies. I think I said, oh, how wonderful, I'm like that, but now we're old and can't act anymore. I think all movie stars go through that phase. Right? So it's been very difficult for them to get impressed. So this is one teaching. Now you have take the politician this time. He looks back, very upset, certain things, I mean, someone asks, okay, what are the things you're not happy about? He says, well, and he's very philosophical and in a sense equanimous about it. He says, well, that's the way things are. And it's okay in a sense, yeah, I wish it to be otherwise, but since things have gone this way, fine. So it's pragmatic. So, but in a sense, if you ask yourself, how could he maintain that mind? I would say, you can use the sutta to explain. So, in other words, depends on the situation. Here, the Buddha is talking more like, what if you really don't feel happy about the situation? What do you do?
So you can respond, but at the same time, to say, maybe do metta and maintain the state of equanimity.
Right. So you do your best. Remember, metta is the first, most important, universal, they call it emotion. And then second one is compassion, where you put this into action. People need help. You don't just say, yeah, I wish you well. When this person is in trouble, we actually put that into action. And then the third quality is gladness. This person feels successful, okay, we feel happy. And then the fourth one is the most equanimity. You try your best, do a lot of things. You build a nice temple, but people don't appreciate it, or don't know how to use it. So, well, people are like that. So we have a building, that's the problem that goes with it. So we, in other words, face reality as it is. So equanimity doesn't mean giving up or
Acceptance.
negative, yeah. You can accept reality. Yeah? Unconditional acceptance. But of course, unconditional acceptance also is the meaning as loving kindness. But here, in the last one, we say that's the nature of things. You got to accept it. Don't give up. In other words, don't give up in your struggle, in your work. So these are the four. Although they're called the four Brahma-viharas, they're called the four. They also call the four qualities of a leader, four qualities of professionalism, many names.
So you say equanimity is acceptance of reality, of things that you can't change?
Yes, of the world as it is. You can't change the world, you change people, you change yourself.
You can't change people, you change yourself?
Yeah, because that's the first effort we must make, changing ourselves.
And by changing yourself, other people will change.
Yeah, that is a very good way of influencing others. Yeah.
I've got questions.
Yeah,
I but it's just clarifying, really. The methodology uses the terms condition, grows, dependently, arisen. I think I understand the first and the third one, condition and dependent, arisen. Condition, I take it as conditions that rose, that conditions of the past, which determines how we perceive the world now. Dependently, arisen means conditions that rose. Am I right?
You can use the past, present, future. That's one way of looking at it. The first one, condition is from the past. We are conditioned by our past, right? And then growth, the feeling rose through one of the senses.
Right.
Something you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch. And then dependent arisen means if you know what is the causal condition, you reflect on it as impermanent, you let go of it.
Right.
No more trouble.
Okay. So these two are related.
Yes.
Growth, I'm not so certain. I read your notes. I read your notes, but I still don't understand what growth mean in the sutta.
Notes, which number is it?
4.2.3, 4.2.
No, the footnote. You mean the front, is it?
Yeah. No. You
okay.
Yeah, 4.2.3, you did.
All right, in Buddhist.
So I read all this and then 0.25, I thought, I still don't know what growth means. So
all right.
What does growth mean?
In Buddhist psychology, we have two ways of sensing things, or how we make of the world. One is it is constructed through our five physical senses. The world of light, sound, smell, taste, and touch, physical. Okay? Right now you can see me, you can hear me. So this all grows in a sense. Remember, we must forget the English meaning of gross. So here, gross meaning it is physical. Yeah, here is a technical term, physical. Okay? Then you go back, you reflect, you think about this, what happened today, and so on. So you have images of it. That's mental. That's number 6.
That's subtle.
That is subtle.
So here in the sutta, it means the physical senses then.
Here the reflection is, all these things we experience. For example, let's say I have fear. Okay? Why do I have fear? It's always related to one of the five senses. But the mind looks at it. So when the mind looks at it, and we don't get stuck on the sense level, then we have no fear. In other words, it's mind-made. So look at it as mind-made. Then you leave the fear where it is. It's just there. Because you look at that memory, the event which came from one of the senses, leave it there. Okay? So just take it as sense-based experience. Okay, so let's go on a bit more. Then a bit of reflection and impermanence comes, 4.6. Ananda, just as a person with good eyesight were to shut his eyes and then open them, or were to open his eyes and then shut them, even so, Ananda, regarding anything whatsoever, the agreeable that has a reason, the disagreeable that has a reason, the agreeable and disagreeable that has a reason, ceases in him. Equanimity is established just as quickly, just as rapidly, just as easily. So here we have another method. This is called the perception of impermanence. So whatever you see, reflect on the impermanence of it. Just like when we shut our eyes, we open our eyes that fast. Or as we say in English, in the blink of an eye, in the blink of the eye. Okay? So here you are. This is the locus clausus for the interesting saying. So we reflect seeing as impermanence. And if you can do that, then it will go away. I mean, if you really look back, all your thoughts, up to now, some have been troubling thoughts, some happy thoughts, some neutral thoughts, they come and go. And here we are, right now in the present moment. So why trouble ourselves? Take those thoughts as passing thoughts. Okay, so this is the teaching here. So then you have equanimity. 4.8. In the noble one's discipline, Ananda, this is called the supreme cultivation of the faculties regarding forms cognizable by the eye. So this is training how to see things. How to see things. See things equanimously, right? Now going back to real life, so to speak. Say there is this theatre critic. He sees this play and he has to write a critical analysis on it. Okay? I can tell he has to watch with a equanimous mind. He has to watch with an open mind. That means neither liking nor disliking. Just say, okay, what do we have here? And then at the end of it, then the begin to come forward. Okay? That's when he begins to feel what he needs to write. So at the moment when we're observing the world, our mind has to be like a tabula kind of open. Then only you can see the world as it is, so to speak. This is on the other side of the situation. Okay? The side of the sutta is where you have a situation, an issue, how to deal with it. Or even when you don't have an issue with the meditation, is one way of looking at it. Okay? I mean, we're all not critics, We don't have critics. Whenever we watch something, we can still watch it equanimously. Most of the time, we need to do that. The moment this part is over and we go out, we have to maintain equanimity somehow. And then, now this is very important, this first part, section 4, make sure you understand this part, and then you will repeat 5 times, 6 times actually. Okay? So this is where I don't have to go through everything because we more or less have a good idea. Sound, same thing also. When you hear a sound, the memory that acts on you will either make it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Agreeable, disagreeable, or neutral. So the same thing you apply, you tell yourself, these things, condition grows dependently on reason. But there's something interesting. The reflection here, number 5, Ananda, 5.5. Ananda, just as a strong man were to snap his fingers without any trouble, That's the way you reflect sound. Reflect sound as impermanent, just like the snap of a finger. And here again, when you hear someone snaps a finger, next time you say, okay, Indriya Bhāvanā Sutta. So you have this connection with the suttas wherever you go. So you can also reflect impermanence through sound. Then through smell, section 6. Smells can bring back memories. Pleasant memories, unpleasant memories, neutral memories, and we react accordingly. Right? But it's all gone in the past, you have to maintain equanimity. The reflection here is in 6.5, says Ananda, just as raindrops on a slightly sloping lotus leaf would roll off and not remain there. So that's the reflection. These are visual reflections, you know. I've written a paper on the 8 and unpacked, okay? And this therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, they make use of imageries. And these are the kinds of visualization you can use to heal people. For example, someone may feel trouble, say, okay, imagine your thoughts are like little drops of water rolling off the leaf. Don't let it stay there. Then, next one is taste. Section 7. Again, taste can bring back memories, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Here, the reflection is 7.5. Ananda, just as a strong person would without trouble build a gob of spittle at the tongue tip and spit it out. Okay, teenagers will love this, I suppose. When you have done this when you are young, just spit a little bit of spit out, and that's impermanent, right? And remember, these are all, what are the 3 words? Condition, grows, pendantly, unwholesome. So reflect in that way. Taste, right? Then next one, section 8, touch. Touch with the body, right? Someone shakes our hands, someone hugs us, or we feel the temperature, nice cool feeling, nice warm feeling. Pleasant memories may come, unpleasant memories may come, or neutral memories. Here we reflect on the impermanence of it, and this is 8.5. And then just as a strong person would stretch his bent arm and bend his stretched muscles. It's just that impermanence. Okay? Usually this arm stretching parable or simile is used for the Buddha appearing, disappearing. But here it is used in a very interesting way to refer to impermanence. Now there's something new here, number 6. Remember just now I told you growth refers to the senses, physical senses, right? But here notice number 6 is the mind. Now I'll explain how this fits in a while. Furthermore, when the monk cognizes the mind object or dharma of the mind, in him the agreeable arises, the disagreeable arises, the neutral arises. Right? So again, this is dealing with a thought. A thought arises, and then we say, okay, this thought is conditioned, grows, dependently arisen. This thought arose because of some other stimulus. So, let me reflect on this thought like 2 or 3 drops of water drip onto a hot iron plate. And this iron plate has been heated up for 2-3 days, very hot. The moment the water drops, little drop of water touches the metal plate, it sizzles and disappears. Thoughts are like that. Now, so thought here also is said to be condition grows dependently arisen. So here is where usually when we say grows refers to 5 physical senses, but more broadly it refers to what we call the external senses. External senses. So thoughts that touch our mind are regarded as external sense experiences also. They are also in this sutta regarded as gross. So this is something you got to bear in mind. In other words, you have 6 internal senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, right? 6 external sense objects. So sense objects are regarded as external and gross. This is suttas now. Okay, you go to Abhidhamma, they go to details. Then you might get a little confused. So this is when you get confused, make sure you give priority to the suttas.
So you're saying that here the mind faculty, the thoughts arising is external and gross.
Yeah. This is important because what the sutta is telling us, those thoughts that trouble us are not really us. They are coming from outside, disturbing the inward peace. This is a very interesting way of talking. So once you see that kind of psychological language, it makes sense to talk of these thoughts as the external, as gross and external, because they are sense objects.
Because they came from sense objects, because
Correct.
they arose from sense objects.
Right, sense objects.
Okay.
Okay. So in other words, the mind can act on itself, so to speak. Right? So we reflect on these thoughts as being impermanent, just like little drops of water disappear on a hot wood. So this is how people like us, unawakened practitioners, practice. Okay? Quite simple, right? So this is, you don't have to go to deep meditation. There's no jhana mentioned here, right? So this is simple practice of mindfulness, right? So people who complain they can't meditate, this is okay. This is the important practice we should have. In fact, this also is a practice we do outside of normal sitting meditation.
So this is for an unawakened mind now.
Correct. Yeah. This is the easiest level of practice. Notice no jhana, right? And then second part, we come to the learner, sekha. Learners are the streamliners, one-returners, non-returners, and the arahat to be. The arahat become is the last, the feature of the last section. Okay, section 10. And Harananda is one the learner on the path. Here the word is learner on the path. Look at the Pali word, section note 58. Seko patipado. Patipado. That means someone walking on the path. Here Ananda, when the mind sees a form with the eye, in him the agreeable arises, the disagreeable arises, the agreeable and disagreeable arises. Okay, same situation with the unawakened practitioner. But the reaction is different. 10.3 is different. This is the saint, the learner, not arahat yet. Okay? The saint except the arahat. His reaction, he is troubled, ashamed, disgusted by the agreeable that has arisen, by the disagreeable that has arisen, by the agreeable and disagreeable that has arisen. Now this makes really good sense because most of us, we know this sentence very well, the sentence ati ati, parayati, jiguchati. Yeah? We know all these experiences are impermanent, but I don't think any of us will admit that we feel troubled by them, maybe some rare occasion. We rarely admit we feel ashamed by them, maybe some rare occasion. And we almost never feel disgusted by any of them. It's a word which we try to avoid. The best is we don't want to think about it. Right? So this is where only the stream winner onwards is able to naturally do this. In other words, if this person has reached such a level of practice, when he looks at his sense experiences, he knows, oh, okay, all these nice things that you see, they're not lasting at all. Let me give a simple example here. We all watch movies when we were kids. We just love movies. I remember when I was one of my happiest memory when I was a young kid. But you see all these old memories in the newspaper nowadays. Huh? Okay, once and when I was a kid, I remember, when television was just coming out, and it was still expensive. There's one house in our kampong, there's a TV. And once one house has a TV, that means all the kampong will come and wait outside to watch. So you have to put it in this living room. The living room is just the next room after the main door. Right in the place where everybody could see. So you have a little crowd outside. We have our timetable, where our favorite shows will come. And those are really happy memories, But now you see a black and white TV, you say, you won't be interested in watching. That's number one. The interest is gone. Right? I mean, if you have a choice, like TV and a nice, big, flat screen color TV, you know very well you choose a flat screen color TV. That's smart, okay? Now, there's even a deeper experience. Let's say you have seen a movie, you've seen all the whole show, beginning to end. I don't know if you feel this or not. At the end of the show, when you come out of the cinema, you have a rotten feeling. When you come into the real world, I mean, you just have the sense like, oh, so what? You know, what's the big deal? I don't know whether you experienced that or not. It's like almost the movie was okay, but not really that great, you know. And what about to watch the movie again? Most people won't. And once you have seen the show, especially those series on TV, you already watched the show, you don't really want to watch it again. It's almost a nauseating feeling. Right? You get my idea? You do not want to go to a repeat of something you already know would happen, what would happen. Right? The best case, I suppose, is someone. You know, someone can be very nasty, likes to tell long stories and complaints, and you better have it with this person. So obviously, you know, you just do not want to be near this person. That kind of feeling.
Aversion.
Almost aversion, yeah. And yet, in the case of the arhat, in the case of the saint, it's not aversion. Here, the only example is great teacher we use is, for example, they say that something that hurts us. You know? So I would think of a stove, you know? Especially electric stove, where you don't see the heat, it's just metal plate. And if you are very like this, you touch it, you get burnt. And you're not going to do it again. Because if one experience is enough, you know it is painful, so you'll never touch it again. So this is where the saints, 3 minutes onwards, they know how senses work. They know how feeling, all this taste, touch, smell, and so on work. So they let it come and let it go. So this is the feeling. This is the meaning of the word trouble, ashamed, disgusted. They look at it for what it is and keep their distance. Okay, so yeah, like I said, it's not so easy for us to understand or even accept. This is the mind of the streamer up to the arhat.
Should we be equanimous rather than disgusted or?
He can be equanimous. He can be equanimous. Even the Buddha would say this. You know. So I was trying to reflect what really would happen. The Buddha does feel trouble, ashamed, disgusted too. In other words, the Buddha is capable of responding to whatever is going on around him. I mean, it would be rather strange if the Sutta was to say, the Buddha does not react to anything around him. So if he sees something beautiful, he will not say it's beautiful. Nothing beautiful. Then that's the point, isn't it? There's no feeling at all. Here, often enough, you hear the Buddha saying, I feel my back aching. Especially when it's very old. So, oh, my back's really hurting. It's only when I'm in deep meditation I don't feel the pain. So you know, these are really the human body, but the mind is different. So here, the Buddha sees someone, a monk, doing some really bad and crazy things. He tells the monk, you tell that monk, I'm troubled, ashamed, disgusted with this kind of action. So what he's saying is, this is wrong, and I'm not happy about it. He will notice the response coming, but it is from outside, remember. From outside. It's not his natural way of acting. Let me give you a simple way. Let's say, whatever profession you're in, a lawyer, a doctor, it's probably the professions. Someone comes to you with a problem. Take a doctor very simple. Someone's very sick. His doctor looks at the sick person. He's not going to give up hope. He's not going to curse this person and say, oh, why can't you take care of yourself or something. So, but he knows, wow, this is bad. This case is really bad, right? And then he says, okay, what do we do about it? So in other words, he knows his case is bad, but he's not troubled by it. See what I mean? I mean, you're a professional lawyer, someone comes with a terrible case, criminal case, you don't feel affected by it, but you know it's a bad thing, and you know it's serious, you know you have to do something about it, you help this guy. But personally, you're not affected. So if you think like that, you'll come to Buddha things on a higher level when he sees a monk who's making the rules and doing terrible things. Something like that. You get the idea? Okay? So the Buddha does have feelings, but he's in control of himself. In other words. So this is the saint's responsive. We're going to look at how the arhat is going to react. This is another way. Very interesting. Next time, I'll not come to that yet. So we just hold our horses, as they say, right? So same thing with the other sense experiences. Sounds that the saint hears, smells, tastes, touches, thoughts. We respond in the same way. Okay? Of course, his mind can be equanimous, but not always, not all the time, unless it's really mindful. Only the arhat's mind is, in a sense, always equanimous. Okay? But even then, they still, when the Buddha sees a beautiful countryside, this countryside is very beautiful. Right? So this is a reflection on the seeing the nature of true reality and not to be cheated by it. It's just like you're going shopping and you know prices of things and you see something, nice brand, but you know it's not a real thing and it's very expensive. You tell your friend, oh, don't buy this, it's not going to be good. So you know it is a false product, it's not very good. You will never want to be cheated by it. Now we come to the third one, the closing one, the arhat's cultivation of the faculties.
Just one.
Sure.
Saints refers to stream.
Saints is a group of them. All the saints except the arhat. So you have the streamer, one returner, non-returner, and the arhat to be. Technically,
One returner,
non-returner,
non-returner.
and arhat to be.
Not non-returner is arahat.
No, different, very different.
Oh, the last stage.
Last
Oh, okay, last life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the last stage is a bit tricky, so it's okay, people understand this time. It's a bit complicated. Look at page 207. Cultivation of the faculties in the arhat. The adept, the non-learner, aseka. And Ananda is one, and Arya, noble one, of developed faculties. Cancel the second piece. Arya means noble one, of developed faculties. So this is, faculties are all developed.
Cancel what?
Developed faculties.
Cancel.
Can you see the, and how Ananda is, one is,
Yeah.
second is.
Oh, right.
Yes, Uttara. Okay, this is the teaching of the five perceptions. And Ananda is one, and Arya, noble one of the world faculties. Here, Ananda, when a monk sees a form in the eye in him, the agreeable arises, the disagreeable arises, the agreeable and disagreeable arises. Okay, so we see something, one of the five senses, six even in thought. Okay, there are five reactions or responses here. Notice if he wishes, let us here the arhat can choose. If he wishes thus, may I dwell perceiving the unrepulsive in the repulsive. He dwells perceiving the unrepulsive therein. What does this mean? Repulsive is something unpleasant. Let's say someone says something bad or someone does a bad action, there's a result that is repulsive. But he sees something unrepulsive, he sees something good in this bad guy, so to speak. Right? He can do that. Or if he wishes, thus, may I dwell perceiving the repulsive in the unrepulsive. He dwells perceiving the repulsive therein. So here, unrepulsive, that is a pleasant situation. Maybe he sees something nice, you know? He looks at this person and just says, okay, even though this person is young and beautiful, but this person is impermanent. You see? He has a choice. Next one, if he wishes thus, may I dwell perceiving the unrepulsive in the repulsive and the unrepulsive. Then he perceives the unrepulsive. So you have two situations here, both aspects are there. He decides to take one aspect. And then number 4, again, you have two aspects, both something likable, something dislikable. And he looks at this on the negative side, permanent and so on. And the last one, he can kind of reflect on both, so to speak. In other words, one after the other quickly. Now take for example, here applies to sound, smell, taste, touch, and mind objects. They're all the same here, right? So in this way, when it's able to practice in this way, then of course only you'll be equanimous. Now let me show you a diagram so that you can better understand it. Just give me a minute, sure? Page 202. Now this diagram doesn't give this sutta doesn't give details, so you can find the details in the Tikandaki Sutta. This is some insight to how the Arahat's mind works. He can decide how to look at the situation. Take section 1. Perceiving the unrepulsive in the repulsive. In other words, a disagreeable object, let's say a hostile person. So you can choose to look at something pleasant in this person, in this negative person. For example, you can show loving kindness. Or this person in front of you are only the 4 elements. So you can naturally you will react to it, respond to it. You get the idea?
So you're saying, for example, to use your example of a hostile person, so I will dwell on, for example, oh, okay, he's hostile to me, but he's a good father or something like that. I draw on some positive quality on him. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, not so mundane though. Probably more like loving kindness. Maybe well and happy. You probably suffered a lot, so maybe well and happy. So it's always something very positive. Yeah.
But
yeah, in a sense, you belong to my ideas, correct? Something positive.
Yeah, but the mental part is from you, it's not in him, right? So you are directing your method towards him. But what is the unrepulsive in the hostile person then? For example, you can reflect that this person suffers a lot. I think Angulimala is a good case. You know? Angulimala is a very violent serial killer. And when the Buddha go to him to help him, the Buddha knew there is goodness in him. So the Buddha went to him, raised all the danger to help him. So the Buddha sees goodness even in someone others regard as totally bad. Right, so similar to what example.
Yes, we like it. Remember, this is an Arahat's mind, so we can only theoretically kind of guess. No?
Yeah.
Or 4 elements, just like the story of that famous monk, you know, in the Muslim Makkah. This crazy woman was running past him and was laughing at him rudely. He looked up and saw just a tree from him. And then the husband came along and asked the monk, "You see a woman passing by?" And the monk replied, "Oh, I really saw a very nice tree." So it reflected only on the bones. Next one, perceiving the repulsive in the unrepulsive. So this is an agreeable object, for example, sensual person. Then this person will reflect on the foulness of the body. He says, well, if you don't wash your body, after a while it will smell, no matter how handsome or pretty you are. You know? Or as everything is becoming permanent. So these thoughts will naturally come to him. And then number 3, perceiving the unrepulsive in both repulsive and unrepulsive.
To see the unrepulsive.
So these are 2, agreeable and disagreeable.
So perceiving the good.
But he only sees one. Right? So here you use loving kindness or the physical elements. And then number 4, you can choose to reflect on just the repulsive also. In the twin case again, repulsive and unrepulsive, he looks at the repulsive aspect. So here he reflects on the foulness of the body, the purity of the body, or regard the situation as impermanent. And the last response, he could reject both and practice equanimity. There is no particular reflection. So this is how the Buddha gives an idea how the Arahat's mind works basically. Of course, we can try to practice this, although it's difficult to sustain as possible. So these are ideas for us to use as practice
don't even understand them.
Okay, summary. Now, when we meet with people, you find they tend to display different qualities, either repulsive or unrepulsive. Meaning, from our view, something that we find attractive.
It's actually all in our minds, you know.
Right.
What you find repulsive, I may not find repulsive.
Definitely, but here, we're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So then we choose. We just take one as way of looking at this. You can just, this guy is very nasty. You can, in your meditation, you say, okay, but he has done good things. So to that extent, I wish you well and happy.
Okay.
So you are at peace with yourself.
Okay.
Or you can say, all right, you can do all this bad stuff, but how long is life? That's all impermanent, So we all don't last long in this life. It's just a moment, in a cosmic time. So there are variations of this response. The last one is neither. You look neither at the repulsive aspect nor the unrepulsive aspect. You just say, okay, let's just let it be. Okay? You practice equanimity.
So in fact, you find nothing repulsive or not repulsive.
Yeah, exactly. So this one is,
Wow.
in fact, the Arahant it's not bothered by all this. It's just that this one he has a choice. You could choose whichever one he wants to do. This is very common. And this instruction is given to us so that maybe we can learn something from this. Okay, so the sutta ends with this young man very happy. And then let's see what happens to him.
209.
Yeah, page 209.
Conclusion.
Alright, the first part actually is the Buddha's advice to us. 17. Thus, Ananda is the supreme cultivation of the faculties in the noble one's discipline has been shown by me. The learner on the path has been shown by me. The area of noble faculties has been shown by me. So, right, the Buddha is summarizing what he has taught. Ananda, whatever a teacher should do out of compassion for the good of disciples, for the sake of their welfare, it has been done to you by me. Right? So let's say, I've done my duty as a teacher to you. These, Ananda, are the fruit of trees. These are the empty houses. Meditate, Ananda. Be not heedless. Regret not later. This is our instruction to you. This is a famous invitation by the Buddha. Alright? So I've given you my teachings. Now it's your turn. Meditate. So the fruit of trees. Now, the fruit of trees, the word fruit here is an adverb, by the way. Okay? So we cannot say feet of trees. There are no feet of trees. In fact, we do have one translation, which will translate as feet of trees. It sounds very funny in English. Like the fruit of a tree. So you look, sorry?
What does it mean?
Fruit means the bottom, the root of the tree.
Yeah.
So you can't use the plural, you can't say feet of a tree.
What does it mean? This is figurative.
Yeah. Sit under the tree to meditate.
Oh, so it's literal, not
Literal.
It's not figurative.
It is figurative because trees don't have feet, but here foot meaning the bottom of the tree, the roots, and that is safe from the rains and storms, from the sun. Normally when you hear foot of trees, we think of meditation.
Right.
So it's a place where you sit under the tree.
Right. So what it means here, meditation?
No, here, yeah, in a sense you can say foot of trees, we normally connect with meditation. But here, the Buddha is telling Ananda, look, those are the fruit of trees. Meditate. Ananda is still a streamer. And to us, to remind us to be more mindful. Okay. So this is a very beautiful person. Okay, any questions?
Empty houses, what does that mean?
Oh, empty house means any kind of empty space in a building, sheltered building, like a heart. Empty space, even this like here, empty house. So,
Again, literal here.
so these are conducive places for meditation.
Oh, I see.
There are lists of, say, 5 to 12 places which are conducive to meditation. A cave, open air, and so on. Any other question?
I want to make a comment.
Yeah, sure.
This thing about light liking, not liking, and the faculties. Just now, following what you spoke just now, from my own experience, everything is relative. Everything is relative. Meaning, you watch a show, you think it's good. I watch the same show, I think it's not so good. She watches the same show, she says it's terrible. So it's a matter of the individual's reaction. So what you like may be what I dislike. Something like that. Right? So what I'm saying is that not every person has the same kind of perception of what is going on.
Yeah.
So what that proves to me is that nobody is actually right. You may be right, I may be right.
Yeah.
So if a lot of people can understand this,
Yeah.
then there won't be so many arguments.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah, the Buddha.
daily life,
Yeah,
everybody is
also,
saying I'm right, you're wrong, and then they quarrel and they sue each other. And
In the Sutta, there is a sutta called On Quarrels, Kalaha Vivada. Yeah, I mean, those are the words that I use. So this is, that's another way we can reflect and give space to others. So these are helpful reflections.
In other words, we're all conditioned phenomena.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that basically is it. We're all conditioned
Yes.
phenomena. So since everything is conditioned, so it's not ultimate reality.
Yeah. Then we reflect on what are those conditions and then kind of define
Because
that they are permanent.
yes, exactly, because they're conditions that are impermanent.
So then we ask ourselves, okay, what happens to us when we think like that? Then you find that the bad stuff don't really trouble us. You know, I mean, we just say, okay, so what, you know? There are happier things in life, there are better things in life. Why should I go on the shadows of life?
I find that one becomes more accepting.
Yes.
More, yeah.
Yeah, you notice sometimes if you're more accepting, then you're also more healing of people. It's just like the counselor. You see, the counselor is always instructed. The counselor has to be amoral in the sense, he should not judge anyone in any moral way when he's listening.
Non-judgmental.
Yeah, judgmental, non-judgmental. It doesn't mean that the counselor doesn't have values. It does. It's just at that time he has to listen whatever this person has to speak so that he gets the big picture. So in many ways that helps us a lot. I mean, we are our most important client, so we also want to see a big picture of ourselves. All those people come to us and say, oh, I have a problem, people are treating me badly, why like this, why like that. They don't have a big picture of themselves yet. So we use the suttas or we use our own wisdom to teach them, say, hey, come on, look at yourself, bigger picture. Then maybe you might learn something. I can't tell you everything because I'm not you, but here's the Buddha's teaching telling you, if you see yourself in a bigger picture, you might learn something from them. You know how to solve the problems, you know how to be happy or happier. And then questions or remarks? Okay, that's great. So happy I finished this with that. So one more lesson to go, and then we'll go on to a new volume. Okay, that's it, huh?
Can you give me the Pali word for the four measurables?
Sure.
Good name.
Your good name is brahmin. Normal A, yeah? Normal A. I've got formula to show the break of the compound. Brahmin.
It's one word or two words?
Yeah, one word. Yeah, I used to put a dot, see, to show that it's a break. Otherwise, you can write one more way, which is really long in German. So you don't know where the break is. This is how it's written. But yeah, put a little dot here so you have a good idea where the break is. Brahma can be perfect or divine. Vihara is abiding, abode. Take gross and subtle simply as the general way the senses work. Gross refers to external experiences. Okay? Sense objects. Subtle as purely mental experiences.
Okay.
That is a safe definition, right?
Subtle as
External sense objects.
Yeah, that's for gross. For subtle, it would be.
Subtle will be just the mind. Just the mind. The mind itself. Subtle. Okay? For example, let's say if you just feel joyful by itself. You just feel joyful. It's a mental experience. And you don't see it as being caused by anything outside. It's just joyful.
Not sense-based.
Yeah, it's not sense-based.
To use antonyms.
This is one of the so-called problems in the suttas, you know.
Sense-based.
Yeah, so you cannot, somehow it seems to defy a dictionary definition. You have a general principles there,
Okay.
but you got to see the context.
So the difference really between the 1, 2 and 3 categories is how we react or don't react
Correct,
to,
yeah.
to the gross or and subtle.
Yes.
I mean that basically is the difference, right? The whole sutta is to tell us how we should react and right? To
Yes.
teach how the unawakened to react or describe how the unawakened, the first category to react, so the difference between the 3 is the reaction or non-reaction
Yeah.
to
Yes.
reaction. That's it.
Yeah.
To
The Buddha,
to experiences which are gross and subtle or subtle.
the Buddha reacts with kind of calmness and
Yes.
clarity.
Yes.
We can react in a negative way depending
Yes.
on
Without
the
wisdom.
external
Yes.
stimulus.
Yes.
Okay, it's
So
good.
there's a level of freedom, isn't it, in a way? The one is just a little freedom to choose.
Yeah, yeah. In a sense, we don't have the freedom.
Yeah.
The awakened mind has the freedom.
You can choose to react
Yeah.
impulsive or repulsive or just equanimous.
That is why sometimes awakening is also called liberation, vimutti. Vimutti. Yeah. Of course, the freedom here is always on the happier side, not choose to suffer. See? I mean, the same, of course, if you have a choice, you won't choose to suffer. See? You will choose the joyful. Even the word repulsive and repulsive simply refers to meditative methods. Repulsive and unrepulsive refers to meditative methods.
What does that mean?
Repulsive, that means it reflects the body as impure. You have to wash the body, otherwise it becomes smelly. That's the repulsive object. Yeah? Unrepulsive is something pleasant, like loving kindness, or the 4 elements. So remember, repulsive, unrepulsive refers to meditative objects also. And in the case of the sage. So we're talking about whatever arises as an event before the saint or the worldling. So we have to remind ourselves we do have choices too, but we forget that every time. We allow our past karma to goad us on.
Yeah.
Okay?
Choices can only come about when you have applied wisdom.
Yeah, clear and quiet wisdom. You know what it is? Okay, so finally, let us do a short reflection. This is a really truly wonderful sutta given to us as the last discourse in the Majjhima Nikaya, giving a wonderful insight to the minds of an unawakened practitioner, that of the learner, and that of the arhat. Knowing all these wonderful teachings gives us a range of choices to bring quality and understanding to our own lives. And every time we study the sutta, we're reminded of this very wonderful learning and choice that we must make. Ultimately, it's how we think, our ability to be happy that matters most, no matter what we have, what kind of people we meet. Our strength of mind will put quality, joy to all the situations. And in that sense, bring happiness wherever we go. Reflecting in this way is very good mental karma. But all of this karma, many other good karma we have been doing, may we attain mental peace even in this life itself whenever we meditate. May we be well and happy here and now. And also, by all these good things we have done and many others, may we attain spiritual liberation, namely streamlining this life itself. In this moment of peace, let us send our loving kindness to all those people who matter to us, wishing them all well and happy. And also to all those people who visit this place, who come to this place, and all those who work here, and all those beings who inhabit this place, and they all be well known in Awaken. And finally, to all those people who are individual to us, who may not agree with us, may the Dharma touch them that they be wise and happy too. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu.